1 year back, most of us who are all risk averse had no other option than to opt for bank fixed deposits at never before low interest rates, which were sometimes less than the savings bank interest rate. However, with the Reserve Bank of India hiking the repo rates in the recent months, most of the banks have started increasing their interest rates on fixed deposits. With that, you can now get a 7% interest rate on fixed deposits of tenure about 2 years in most of the banks. You get relatively better rates in some of the small finance banks. For example, you get 8% for 999 days fixed deposit in ESAF Small Finance Bank and 8.5% for the same tenure if you are senior citizen. So, if you are an existing depositor, it could be tempting to break the existing FD to create new one to take advantage of the increasing rates. For the question is, should you do it now or when will be the right time to do that? Welcome to Nana's Learn Better. Use this channel to enrich your knowledge in personal finance to take informed decisions. Do subscribe to the channel if not done already. There are two things you need to keep in mind when you think of prematurely closing an existing FD with a lower interest rate with an idea to open a new FD at a higher interest. 1. The remaining duration for maturity of the existing deposit. 2. The cost of prematurely closing the existing deposit. Let's discuss these two aspects in detail. The first thing you need to bear in mind is the remaining duration for maturity of the existing FD. Because when you pre-close the deposit, you will get a lower interest rate applicable for the period for which the FD has run than the contracted one. Additionally, there could also be penalty for pre-closing the deposit which may range from 0.5 to 1%. Generally, as a thumb rule, you should not foreclose an existing FD if the remaining period is about 6 months to 12 months, because you will certainly get a lower interest rate if you enter into a new FD as the remaining tenure is less than 12 months. For example, let's suppose that you have an existing FD for 3 years maturing in the next 9 months with a contracted interest rate of 6.5%. If you prematurely close the deposit now with just 9 months remaining for maturity, you will get only 4.5% as the interest rate for the deposit period of 2 years and 3 months against the contracted rate of 6.5%, and you are bound to lose about Rs 10,000 in interest. The second aspect you need to consider will be the cost of premature closure of the existing FD. By prematurely withdrawing an existing FD, you tend to lose on two fronts. 1. You will get a lower interest than the contracted one, and 2. You also need to pay a penalty for foreclosure. For example, let's suppose that you have an existing FD for 5 years with a contracted interest rate of 6.25%. With the interest rates on FD rising, you want to close the existing FD prematurely and want to open a new FD for the remaining tenure at a better rate, say at 7%. Let's see if this action is profitable. Supposing that you want to break the existing deposit and create a new one after 6 months of opening the existing FD. In this case, let's assume that the applicable rate is 5% for the completed tenure of 6 months. And considering the premature closure penalty of 1%, what you get as effective rate for 6 months is just 4%. With that, your FD would have earned an interest of Rs 2010 for 6 months. Now, consider that you want to invest the closure proceeds of Rs 1 lakh 2010, that's 1 lakh principal and 2010 as interest for the remaining tenure of 54 months. That is 60 months original tenure less the completed tenure of 6 months at a new interest rate of 7%. This will result in a maturity amount of Rs 1,39,400 against the original maturity value of Rs 1,36,354 of the existing deposit. Since you get a positive additional interest of Rs 3,046 by booking a new FD, after pre-closing the existing one after 6 months, you can go ahead to pre-close the existing one to create a new one. However, Let's look at another scenario. In this case, let's suppose that you foreclose the same FD after it has run for 18 months. Now, you will get rupees 1,05,758 as the closure proceeds, considering the applicable interest rate for 18 months minus the pre-closure penalty charges. Consider that you deposit the pre-closure amount of rupees 1,05,758 in a new FD at 7% interest rate for the remaining tenure, that is 42 months. At the end of 42 months, the maturity proceeds of this new FD would be rupees 1,34,833. If you compare this amount with the original maturity amount of the existing FD that you are pre-closing, then you are bound to lose rupees 1,521 in interest. Clearly, it's not profitable to pre-close the existing one after 18 months to open a new FD for the remaining tenure of 42 months, even at a higher interest rate of 7%. So, you need to do this analysis before you take a decision to pre-close any of your existing FDs if it is to book a new FD at a new interest rate. While pre-closing and opening a new FD, it may be wise if you do not lock up the FD for longer durations like 5 years, 8 years, etc. Instead, enter into FDs maturing for short to medium terms, that is 1 to 3 years. That way, you may be able to minimize on premature closures. Also, you can split up the FDs and ladder it in such a way that you have one FD that gets closed while the others continue for some more time. The FD laddering is a strategy in which you stagger the investment into a number of FD instruments maturing on different time periods and reinvest in a similar fashion when a deposit matures. Watch out for a separate video on FD laddering from this channel to learn more about this. But if you are planning to break an existing FD to earn more by investing in other investment opportunities than bank FDs, then it's a different ballgame that would call for a different set of analysis and conclusions. This is all about what is the right time to break an existing bank fixed deposits to open a new one for taking advantage of rising interest rates on deposits. See you in another video. Till then, this is Narayanan Viraya from the channel Nanas Learn Better.